there. You've probably waited for quite a while for me to review the Harley Benton DNAfx GIT Pro. There's a smaller version, but we're looking at the cool one. Now, this modeler kind of hit the market with other modelers. There is something from Donner, there's something from Flammer, there's more, and there's also this one, and a whole bunch of them. Let me quickly check the more for you. I'm back. The more GE250, not the 200, but the GE250, clocking in at 299, seems to be similar in features and ins and outs and stuff like then to the Harley Benton DNAfx GIT Pro. There are there's Hot Tone who have the Ampero. It seems there's a lot of these things in similar price ranges going around. Now, I have a hunch that some of them are kind of the same with a couple of differences in terms of user interface and pricing. Obviously, since it's Harley Benton and direct from the manufacturer to Thomann without a distributor and all that in between, you can save a bundle, and that's good. I'm thinking Thomann or Harley Benton, kind of the same thing, does not have a development team sitting there developing modeling software. just as Flummer and Donner don't. They all kind of buy it in the same factory and say, change the chassis. So the big question is, how do they differ? And what's the benefit to you? Now, since we're talking about that, let's look at this thing over here. Size-wise, this is pretty damn ridiculous. Now, this is the Pod Go. And you can see that lengthwise, it's about the same. It is quite a bit deeper. It is higher. There's, of course, a bag that you can get for the Pod Go. And the Pod Go is a great product, but this clocks in at 500, 489, something like this. I love this thing. We had it on Ireland in the wireless version, but no XLR. And it's got an effects loop. Other than that, it's kind of similar. USB-A. This is the big kahuna of the small kahunas when it comes to modelers, because line 6 and all that stuff. Now, it is very fair to compare the Flummer FX200. By the way, in the Flummer FX200 video, which I'll also be shooting today, I'm comparing it to the Harley Benton because when you look at it, it's pretty much the same footprint. So when you look at the back, you can see that it's extremely similar. I mean, even the switch, this has USB-C. The Harley Benton has USB-A. The Harley Benton has 2 inputs. Let me see. The Harley Benton has amp control, so you can actually switch your amp channel, which this doesn't. The Harley Benton has stereo effects return. This has mono. So in terms of in and outs, the Harley Benton kicks the Flummer's ass. Other than that, I mean, it is extremely similar. But the great thing is both of them in their price range. Harley Benton at $289, which is pretty damn ridiculous, and the Flummer at $399 have XLR out. That's how it should be. And I think the Moore has the same at $399. So the Moore is directly comparable to the Flummer. But you can actually see that very, very few knobs and buttons and stuff. Whereas the Moore has a lot of tactile buttons, and the Harley Benton is kind of in between. So when you look at the Harley Benton, there's a little bit of a menu exit store thing, 2 left and rights. This one can be pushed in, and we're going to see what that does. And then you've got 4 foot switches. In terms of foot switching, I think this is superior to the Flummer because the Flummer only has 2 presets that you can switch. Not too happy about that. And you have tactile knobs, which you might like. The Flummer is completely touchscreen. This is not touchscreen. And that probably is where the price difference comes from. But since they are, I'm sorry I'm going through all this, but we have to. Since they are size-wise comparable, I'm not dragging the Harley Benton off the table. I show you the reason why these are, in a way, I mean, XLR is a big way why they're superior to the Pod Go, but why they're definitely, for the guitar player on the go, are superior to the Pod Go, which I love. But look at this. So let's for a second assume this is the Harley Benton. They're the same size. You've got a gig bag here. It's tight, but I had it closed earlier. Come on, you can do it. It's very, very, very narrow, but here we go. It actually fits into your gig bag. The whole modeler fits into your gig bag, the Harley Benton as well. And if you have something like this with a big bag in the front, you'll be able to have a backup for your gig. Sure, take your tube amp, take your pedal board, take everything you want, but you're going to a rehearsal, you're going to a gig or whatever, have this with you and always be able to continue playing. That is pretty damn dope. Is it still fine? Yes, it's a mono bag, those rule. And that really now leaves us to talk about the ins and outs, check out some sounds, and how is it programmable. We're not going to go into every single amp, every single cab, every single effect. That is utterly ridiculous. And literally, they're paying me for this, but they're not paying me enough to do this because it would be a 7-hour video, and I'm sure those already exist. There's literally no coffee in here. That was just for the movement. How do you operate it? I didn't read a manual, and you don't have to. So, it's up here. So if you push these 2 foot switches, it's going bank down. These 2, it goes bank up. Hold in this, you have a decent tuner. Hold in this, you have a looper, which is great. And then you have the, it shows you what the 4-foot switches will do. How do I get back? Probably exit. There we go. We're on empty. We don't want to do that. This is how you change banks. And we just saw there's 64 times 4 sounds. It's way more than you will ever need. Now I can access 4 different sounds with these foot switches. If I hit the one that I'm on again, I'm going into a stomp mode and it's showing me dynamics, stomp box, tap tempo, and this right one will exit and I will go into, let's see, this mode. Now I'm on the US Deluxe. I click that and it's showing me what stomps I have under my feet, and the different lights actually show you this is red and this is bluish. So there's a nice visual feedback happening there. These are pushable and turnable. So right now, let's say I'm on the DS, which is distortion. By pushing this, I can turn the distortion on and off. I've got all my parameters here. The arrow shows me I have to go to the right by pushing this little right arrow. And then there's just volume left, okay? So very easy, very beautiful and tactile. If I want to turn distortion on and off, you click this one. And once it's on, the one on the very left will actually change what model of distortion it is. You know, clean boost, big fast, blah, 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 all these. There isn't a whole list that you can look at the same time. You will have to get through it and you will find your favorite ones. The Tommy drive, BB drive, blah, blah, blah. Turn that off. So how do I get to the amp? This is in the touchscreen. You will use the big wheel over here and manipulate what module you're on. And you can see these are always in the same order. Can you change the order? To be honest, I don't know. Could I put the EQ somewhere else? If I click it, I'm going up there and I'm actually manipulating presets with a big knob. So that's not it. And it actually saved it, which is nice. So how would I move that around? Hold it in long. There you go. Again, everything without a manual. I mean, you know, things are kind of self-explanatory and you know it's supposed to be able to do that, and then you find out how it does it. So I want to turn that off, click that. You can learn this thing in minutes. So you go to amp, change your amp here. Very likely it changes the cap with it, which in the menu, you actually have this, you know, input level, output mode. We're not going to go into all this stuff, but here you can actually say that your amp and your caps are synced, and here it says it's off. Which means right now if I go to my cap, see it's the matching cap to the Archean 50DS, and this is the Archean 412. But you can of course unmatch that. If I now change this, I should still be on the Archean amp. So if you change your cap, it's not going to change your amp. There's an effects loop, as I said, and you can see in the back, there's an send in mono and a return in full stereo, which is of course great. So let's look at the back quickly. Aux in to play with your tracks. And this is headphone, sorry, it's a little bit dark. There's an amp control out to change your amp channels if you wanted to. This is for a second swell pedal, which this is, you know, tiny. It doesn't have a big range. If you want more, go for it. There's an input for the guitar. This is send, stereo, return. Output in 1/4 inch. This right here is the headphone out. Ground lift. XLR out, which is great. Right here is a full-size MIDI. This is USB-A. This is nothing, that's a screw. And there's a little switch for on and off, and that's it. And it takes, of course, 9 volt, 1 amp. Comes with this power supply. Why can I hold this and it's still powered? Because I'm using the Flamma power supply, because I'm pretty sure that most of it is the same, other than some visuals in terms of user interface and the actual user interface being tactile. But I think a lot of the back end and hardware is very likely the same thing. Now, when it comes to cabs, of course, many of you want to know, can I load my own IRs? I'm pretty sure you can. So I'm just going through these, and it says empty. And empty simply means you can load your own IRs. I could not, however, do that. I downloaded the software, which you can get from the Harley Benton site. Works fine when you want to install it, and it opens, but then it says software and hardware have the wrong firmware, which means I would have to update it. However, I would hope that you would do that through the software, which you can't because the software doesn't open because it has the wrong firmware. But on the website, I cannot find any information about firmware updates. I checked, maybe I have to check again. So that means I'm not showing you the software and I cannot load IRs into it and I haven't updated the firmware. I'm sure it's possible. I just haven't found out how. That being said, it's simple. I mean, yeah, knobs, which you might prefer over touchscreen, some stuff in the menu, some pushing back and forth on left and right, and a bigger encoder. The one on the left is just a massive volume, this thing. Other than that, $289, and I have to say, they do nail presets right out of the box a lot better than Line 6, because most of the Line 6 presets suck, and they probably better than the Flummer, because I think on the Flummer, I haven't checked the Donner, I haven't checked all of them, I haven't checked the more. The Flummer has some issues with the IRs. They are all and too big. Load your own and it's all good. I think the Harley Benton probably has a heads up there. So what we do now is check some sounds. This is the basement or something, and I don't want that tube screamer thing on, so I'm just going to actually use the foot switches and we're good. This whole thing is a Shabbat Puma. Just got it, playing it, lalas. It's a neat guitar to pair with that product. Preset 1 rocks, which is weird because usually the presets suck. So they had some good people programming. There's just the right amount of room and liveliness in it. I am impressed. Typical. So push both, click A. course, way too fat. There is a master EQ that you can apply to adjust it to a live situation and generally roll off or boost certain frequencies. They're really nailing the in-the-room sound. What? Wait, I don't want the delay. Go over here, click this. Nope, wrong. Click this. Go over here, go delay, turn it off. Oh no, that's wrong. Down here. Let's do this again. Don't want the delay, click this. Delay is off. Pick a different cap. Low cut, I love it. Very interesting. There was a dead giveaway that Moore's involved because it said real echo. The only other time I've ever read real echo was on one of their mini pedals. So Moore is behind this. Not they behind the curtain. You know what I mean. So there's a tap tempo, which is good because now I can actually set up that it's doing what it is doing. Let's say dotted eighth. Here we go, and click it again. So you can see, I literally have had this on the table for an hour. Zero preparation time for this video, which I deliberately did to show you if or if not, it is intuitive. And it is. Because I know what I wanted. And clickety-click, turn it on and off, navigate to it. You can quickly do that. So I'm going to go to Mod, turn that back off. Put a noise reduction there. Bam. Turn the EQ on, which now is down here. I mean, not that many different EQs because it doesn't make sense. It's a really fairly simple tool. Let's hold for tuner. And there you go. That should be fairly visible from standing up on stage. Bam. You know what? I'm done. I'm not going to go through a million sounds. I have to say that the presets are designed to actually work. They have the roominess that a lot of these things are usually missing. The user interface is absolutely usable. Would I prefer a touchscreen? I don't know. Watch my Flummer video because I will review this thing next. And pros and cons. I do like the touchscreen simplicity. However, the direct access with the buttons down here is nice. It's $110 cheaper. It's the same footprint. It can control your amp channel and has a stereo effects return. So if you're into ambient stuff and you really want to return other pedals and delays and whatever and reverbs in stereo, that might make sense. Other than that, I mean, how can I not recommend a thing that fits in your gig bag, has pretty kick-ass sounds, works as an audio interface, blah, 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 blah. It's $289, and I gotta say, check out the Donner, which you have to get as import. Check out the Flummer. I don't know if they have a European warehouse, but they might. This is a European warehouse. This is Thomann. So, you know, if something's happening, you can call them, which with a Chinese company is a bigger problem. However, if you want the touchscreen, then it's difficult. The More, realistically, I'm going to be very honest, the More is $399, has way more little touchy buttons, probably harder to understand in terms of the user interface. And if it's between the Moore and the DNAfx GRT Pro, damn stupid name, Harley Benton, I'll probably go for this because $289. And it's kind of, I mean, they're kind of all from the same people, if you ask me. Yeah. I think out of the box, this has better IRs, which are not the same as in the other one that I'm testing. And the presets are pretty damn good right there. So someone did a great job, better job than Line 6, better job than other companies. That's all I'm saying. Gotta put links below, which is important, and animals at the end. Also links to my songwriting course, which is out now, and you should really check out if you actually want to create some music. Thanks, Harley Benton, for commissioning this video, and animals at the end.